Hey everyone, I'm Ricky, and today I'm going to be doing a quick recap and review of Elite Seasons 1 through 3. Season 4 is going to be premiering June 18th on Netflix, and if you don't have time to rewatch all of the episodes, I'm going to be recapping it right now for you, so let's get into it. Season 1 starts off with a mystery showing one of the main characters, Samuel, looking at an investigation of a dead body at his private school in Spain. After the opening of the season, we see three characters, Nadia, Christian, and Samuel. All of them come from modest backgrounds and are enrolled in an exclusive private school after their own school collapses. At first, most of the teens currently attending the school, mainly Lucrecia and her boyfriend Guzman, are unwelcoming and standoffish to the newbies, with Semu being Guzman's primary target and Nadia being Luz. Guzman has a sister Marina, whom initially starts to crush on Sam and vice versa, but Guzman does not approve, which fuels his hatred for Sam as the season goes on. Sam's brother Nano gets out of prison around the same time of him starting to attend the school. Nadia's brother Omar deals drugs on the side of helping his parents with their shop and ends up selling some to Ander, a student of the private school and the son of the principal. Later, Ander meets someone he met online anonymously to hook up, and it ended up being Omar. Another two students at the school, Carla and Polo, are in a relationship but take a liking to Christian. Carla comes on to Christian initially, and unbeknownst to him, Polo would stand in another room and watch while they hook up. At the end of the first episode, we see the body is revealed to be Marina, and every episode we see flash forwards of each of the main characters getting interrogated by an inspector on who killed Marina. Throughout season 1, we see numerous relationships start to form, one being Guzman and Nadia after Lou dared her boyfriend to take Nadia's virginity, and another being Omar and Ander, who have to keep their relationship a secret as they are not out to anyone. Polo and Carla also start to get intimate with Christian and form a three-way relationship of sorts. One significant relationship that started was with Marina and Sam's brother Nano. Nano is somewhat of a troublemaker, and Marina goes along with his plans to make money and pay off his debt. They conjure up a plan to steal watches from Carla's dad, who owns a large and successful winery. Nano was successful in stealing the watches, but he unknowingly stole her dad's personal watch that had confidential data that revealed Carla's dad's illegal activity. Once Carla grew increasingly suspicious that Marina had the watch, Polo got word and wanted to get the watch back for Carla's dad, as if they didn't, it would mean that Carla and her family would lose everything. On the final episode, we see Polo was revealed to have killed Marina after having an argument about Carla's dad's watches. Carla and Christian are told this by Polo after catching him in the locker room, and Carla tells Polo what to say to the police to avoid any suspicion. Guzman almost attempts suicide but is stopped by Lou, who is able to get him down from a ledge he was standing on. After the interrogations are over, the police end up arresting Nano, who was revealed in one episode to be the father of Marina's unborn child. When his brother Sam begs Christian to help find out who really killed Marina, he instead leaves for Carla, and it is revealed he threw the trophy that was used to kill Marina into a lake. The first season of Elite was about as good as you can get for an opening season of a show. All of the characters were great, all of the storylines were great, and it never really dragged on in any episode throughout the season. As far as high school dramas go, you can't really get any better than this, since it's not afraid to push boundaries and go where other shows really haven't gone before. It's also very bold in what it's trying to convey too. I'm going to be doing top 3 favorite moments for me in each of the seasons. So for season 1, my top 3 moments would include Nadia and Guzman and their relationship and how they came to not really understanding each other, coming from different backgrounds, and slowly learning to like each other and understand each other, and then just how their relationship formed from there. Also, Ander and Omar, it was great to see that relationship start to kind of form. It was somewhat of a forbidden romance because neither of them were out to anybody really, and then once Ander did come out to his close friends, like, everyone was very accepting of it, and that was really cool to see. And then obviously the scene where you found out that Polo was the one to kill Marina, and Carla helped him cover it up and got him and Christian to do what she needed to do to help protect her family because of the watches. Special shout out to for Christian, Polo, and Carla's polyamorous relationship is what you would call it. I really liked them and how they showed that together. Overall, I would give the season a 10 out of 10. I'm not even exaggerating. It was a perfect season for a perfect show. It was just amazing. So now we're going to be recapping Season 2. Season 2 kicks off with a search party looking for a missing student. As time jumps back to 3 months earlier, we see Guzman is still grieving his sister Marina and still has hatred towards Samuel. We're introduced to 3 new students, Cayetana, who proposes to be a rich socialite who lives alone, Rebecca, who moves into Guzman and Marina's old house after saying she won the lottery, and Lu's half-brother Valerio. Christian is showing signs of struggling with the secret of what really happened to Marina, especially after Nano confronts him about why Marina had Carla's dad's watch before she was murdered, but not after. And when Christian leaves a party to go confess, he's stopped in his tracks when he's hit by a car which flees the scene. Carla's dad has a private conversation with Christian in the hospital and reveals to Sam and Carla that he will be paying for Christian's therapy in Switzerland, where he will send him for a few months to recover. Sam and Carla both suspect Carla's dad of having something to do with the accident, and when Carla kisses Christian goodbye, he tells her she will fall one day, visibly angered and upset with her for bringing him into hiding the true story of what happened to Marina. At the end of the first episode, it is revealed that Samuel is the missing person. This season shows numerous flash forwards to interrogations of each of the students as the last did, keeping the same format as before while also showing different scenes from the search party looking for Sam. As the season goes on, relationships start to shift, and new ones start to form as Guzman and Nadia rekindle what they once had as he leaves Lu for her. Sam catches feelings for Carla as Rebecca also does for him, and we learn Lu and her half-brother Valerio are attracted towards each other and are eventually caught making out. Polo and Ander hook up in Guzman's bed after he passes out, and after they have a heart-to-heart, Polo tells Ander that he was the one to kill Marina. Overcome with guilt, Polo tries to commit suicide, but Kai and Ander are able to save him from doing so. Kai is shown to actually be a working-class citizen and the daughter of the school's housekeeper, and is just putting up a front that she is rich so that she can gain friends and popularity. Once she and Polo start to get to know each other more, they eventually start a relationship of their own. After a heated argument between Omar and his father, and after Omar's father came back from a stroke, Omar was kicked out of the house and their shop, and left to live with Ander and his parents. Samu starts working for Rebecca's mom, whom is actually a drug dealer, so that he can pay bail money for Nano to be released from jail. Once he does, Nano threatens Rebecca to leave Samu out of her family's drug business. Nano also catches Sam making out with Carla and attempts to attack her, as he thinks that she had something to do with Marina's death, but Sam stops him. At the same party, Rebecca finds out about Kai's real position in life and tries to publicly shame her for it. Eventually, Nano flees home, as he does not want to be put back in jail. As Sam tries to dig deeper into what really happened to Marina, he starts getting into some trouble with Carla, who threatens him and saying he will end up in the same state as Christian if he does not stop. Throughout the last season and season 2, Nadia and Lu are at war academically, and Lu is upset that Nadia is doing better than her. Once Valerio catches Nadia and Guzman having sex, he records it and sends it to Lu, who then posts it online and sends it to the host school. Kai and Lu work together to start a fundraiser, but when Lu learns the truth about Kai and her wanting to keep the money for herself and her family, she tells the whole party, which ruins Kai's credibility and status she was working to achieve. Polo doesn't care about Kai's lack of wealth though, and even has his mothers who are on the parents association at the school stop them from kicking out Kai and her mother after Kai stole a dress from another parent. He also pays off their debts and then some to help Kai graduate from the school to open more doors for her in the future. Guzman is still angry with Samu when he finds Nano is missing, until Sam pulls out a secret recording he took of Carla threatening him to stop asking questions about Marina. Once Valerio learns of Lu sending the video of Nadia and Guzman around to the school, and also of her bringing Kai down, he gets their father to catch them in the act under the table. The last episode reveals that Samu was run down by drug dealers whom he owed money to. He got away with the help of Guzman after Guzman finally came to his senses in believing Sam when he said that Polo was the one to have killed Marina. In an attempt to get Carla to confess, they faked him going missing while Sam hid out at Guzman's grandmother's house. Carla finally cracked and told Polo she was going to confess, and while Carla confessed, Polo told Kai what he had done. Kai ends up agreeing to retrieve the trophy from the lake and hide it in her house, as she feared one of the only people still on her side would be going to jail. Near the end of the episode, we see Polo being arrested, and Carla and Sam breaking off anything they once had. Unable to get a confession out of Polo, and with Kai hiding the trophy, the police released Polo after 2 weeks, and the season ends with him re-entering the school. Season 2 introduced 3 great new characters into the show, each with their own things to do. However, I do think that Rebecca could have gotten more to do because she seemed very disconnected with the rest of the cast. It also kept up with the great pace of season 1 for the most part. There were a couple things that kind of dragged on in the middle of the season, but it definitely picked back up at the end. In my opinion, I didn't think that the mystery was as enticing as the first season, but I did like how they didn't kill anyone this season. I like how they switched it up in doing that. So the top 3 moments for me this season would be Samu revealing his recording recording of Carla that he made to Guzman. Another one is Christian telling Carla that she will fall and flipping her off while taking off the little heart rate monitor thing. I just think I get a kick out of that. I loved that. And then obviously I think everyone's favorite moment of the entire show probably would be Lou's speech that she made at the fundraiser. Overall, I think with everything considered this season, I'd probably rate it about an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, it wasn't as good as the first season. The mystery wasn't as enticing for me, and then there were a couple things that dragged on, a couple characters that felt disconnected, so it wouldn't say it's as good as the first season, but it still was really, really good. There was just a few things that could have been a little bit better, but now on to season 3. Season 3 of Elite opens up with a body falling to the ground from a broken window above in a popular club the cast frequents. Carla is shown to be on the other end of the broken glass, looking down at who had just fallen through. We flash back to 5 months earlier where Polo rejoins the school due to his mother's making him. Carla and Polo are ordered to have a confrontation in court to either charge Polo or drop the charges altogether. When Carla is pressured into redacting her statement by her father, she obliges and tells the court that she made it all up for fear that her mother would go to jail for her father's shady business dealings with the winery. Ander learns that he has leukemia, and we learn that Valerio was kicked out of his house and Lou was cut off financially after coming clean about her relationship with her half-brother. Nadia meets a new student, Malik, who is also Muslim, and they hit it off right away. At orientation week for the school, Nadia finds she will have trouble being granted a scholarship despite her excellent academic performance. She is told by one recruiter that the video of her and Guzman is the reason, and that it would hurt the school's reputation by granting her a scholarship. Nadia for some reason blames Guzman for this, even though he had nothing to do with the video, and breaks it off with him. After Guzman attacks Polo, the principal of the school states that any other outbursts or misconduct would mean immediate expulsion and no graduation. At the end of the first episode, we see that the dead body is that of Polo, and the mystery of the season that follows is trying to figure out who did it. As with seasons 1 and 2, there are flash forwards of the night that Polo died as well as the interrogations that followed. Each episode focuses on a specific character or characters who are being interrogated and who may have had something to do with Polo's death. In present day, Nadia and Lou are competing for the same scholarship to Columbia University, and after Nadia threatens to out Lou's secret with Valerio, they end up deciding to compete for it fair and square. Ander comes clean about his cancer diagnosis to Rebecca first, then Omar, and also his mother. Rebecca's mother is shown to supply Valerio with drugs, and when Sam is offered a deal to let Nano return home with no charges in exchange for information on Rebecca's mother, he does just that, putting Rebecca's mother in jail unbeknownst to them about who was the snitch. Sam later finds that it was just a trap to get the feds to find out where Nano was, though. We are introduced to another new student, Yarai, who had once previously attended the school but is now returning with a big crush on Carla, due to her being one of the only people to defend him when he was bullied in previous years. Guzman invites Polo over to talk things over, but ends up taking Polo hostage in an effort to get a confession out of him or to have him tell where the trophy is. He lets Sam know of what he's doing, and when Polo finally tells Guzman that it was an accident, Guzman goes crazy and starts beating him while he's tied up, and Sam has to stop him from killing Polo. Throughout season 3, we see Polo being harassed and berated by his peers at the school, including Sam, Guzman, and even Kai coming up with fake accounts posing as Polo, and posting about Marina's murder. Eventually though, Polo, Kai, and Valerio have a threesome and soon form a relationship together, almost the same as how Carla, Polo, and Christian did in season 1. Uri, being smitten with Carla, invites her out on a date and eventually to a party where there will be a lot of wealthy investors, to which Carla's dad forces her to attend in order to get Uri to invest in her dad's failing winery. In the same boat with money is Rebecca now that her mother had been arrested. She ends up taking over her mother's drug business to make up for the loss of money with Valerio. Rebecca eventually figures out someone planted a bug in her house and tells that to Sam, to which Sam tries his hardest to cover up what he did. At a blackout party, Rebecca uses blacklight paint on her purse to catch Sam in the act of trying to hide evidence against him, which ended up giving him away. In doing so, she inadvertently had Omar and Malik get caught by Nadia and finding out that Malik is actually gay and using her as a beard for his parents, despite Lou's best efforts to hide this from Nadia after she had started being nice to Lou. Lucretia loses the scholarship to Nadia, and when Nadia gets talked out of backing out by Lou, she ends up splitting it with her instead. Ander finds out about Omar and Malik and breaks up with him by lying and saying that he was cheating on him with one of his fellow chemo patients, Alexis. When Sam finds out about Valerio selling drugs to Carla, who had become hooked on them, he threatens him to stop selling it to her. When Rebecca gets jealous of that, she ends up selling drugs to Carla out of spite at one of Yurai's parties, and she overdoses and collapses into a pool and has to be saved by Polo. Prior to this happening, Carla admitted to Uri that her relationship with him is a arranged, and she only takes drugs to cope with having to be with him. Thinking that Valerio was the one to sell drugs to Carla, Polo confronts him in school and a fight ensues between them and Sam. While Rebecca and Guzman try to get involved to break it up, the remaining drugs Rebe had in her sweater fall out in time for the principal to catch them. The principal then ends up expelling Rebecca and Valerio over the drugs, as well as Guzman and Samuel for the bullying of Polo after his mother demands it. Ander talks with her and tells her that he won't be graduating either, as he believes he will die soon and wants to live the rest of his life in peace. In one of the best moments of the whole show, Nadia and Lou object to their friends being expelled from school and also discuss Polo's role in killing Marina during an acceptance speech for their scholarship. Polo's mother abruptly cancels their scholarship, causing them to not be able to get a chance at going to college. At dinner that night, Polo convinces his mothers to go through with the scholarship by admitting to them that he killed Marina. Carla makes amends with Uri after getting off of drugs, and he ends up investing in her father's winery on the condition that she is now the owner and he has no more power, a deal which he ends up having to take in order to not lose everything. At the graduation party, Carla also tried to make amends with Samuel, and once that happens, Polo enters as well. The final episode shows all the clips we've seen teased throughout the season finally put together, with Lou and Nadia mad at Polo for getting the scholarship taken, Rebe and Valerio mad at him for their expulsions, and Omar and Samuel mad at him for everything he's done. We are eventually shown Lou to be the one to have accidentally stabbed Polo with the broken neck of the champagne bottle that had been broken prior, and Polo makes his way up the stairs before falling out of a glass window above. Guzman kneels over Polo as he lay dying and tells him he forgives him before Polo dies on the floor. All of the characters, besides Uri and Malik, know that Lou did it and decide to cover for her by all putting their prints on the broken neck of the bottle and leaving it next to Polo. The police get his prints as well, and with every character saying it was another in order to mix the inspector up, they deem Polo's death a suicide. The final half of the finale shows everyone saying their goodbyes. Nadia to Guzman, as her and Lou are leaving the country for their scholarships along with Malik and Omar, and Carla saying goodbye to Samu as she is leaving to study abroad. Rebecca's mother has been released from prison, and Rebecca makes a tearful plea for her mother to stop dealing drugs, otherwise she will leave her for good. The inspector apologizes to Sam by telling him Nano is free to come back since Polo's mother's told her their son confessed before he died, and Samuel accepts her apology but not before saying Nano would not return as he didn't trust them. During Polo's funeral, Carla tells her dad that while she's away, Valerio will be in charge of the winery and reporting to her, leaving her dad stripped of any power over it. At the airport, Omar's dad makes amends with him and finally acknowledges Ander as Omar's boyfriend. And when they are about to leave, Omar stops and goes back to Ander, who tells him that his cancer is now in remission. Guzman and Nadia leave each other messages about how they will be there for each other as soon as Nadia gets back from college. The season ends with Samuel, Guzman, Rebecca, and Ander returning to the school to repeat their final year, along with Omar, who is now a student, and we see Kai is now a janitor of the school and no longer a student as well. So season 3 brought back a lot of the excitement that season 1 did for me. I was really interested in the mystery of who killed Polo because he is the main character and we've known him for now 3 seasons, and finding out that Lou was the one to do it was a big shocker. I really like that they gave Rebecca a lot more to do this season because season 2, as I said, she felt kind of disconnected with the cast, but it didn't really feel like that this season. I was, though, a little disappointed in how they were writing Nadia's character. It didn't really make sense for her to be distant towards Guzman because of the video when he had no part in the video or in sharing it. It's just that they were just doing what they did, and Valerio and Lou were the culprits with everything. Another thing that I didn't like about the season, and I think a lot of people can share this sentiment with me, was Malik. I think his character was probably the worst written character out of anybody in Elite for the 3 seasons. His character was basically just a plot device to shake things up with Nadia and Guzman's relationship and with Ander and Omar's relationship, and that's it. The production getting rid of half of the cast at the end of the season set up for an amazing finale, very emotional, very well written, a lot of great scenes that we got between all of the characters. However, I couldn't help but feel that the cast was a little incomplete at the ending scene when all of them were walking back into the school, but I do think that they set up something potentially amazing for season 4, so I'm really excited for that. Season 3's top 3 moments for me would be when Guzman was holding Polo hostage and then Samu had to stop him from killing him, basically. Omar's dad finally accepting him for being gay and acknowledging that Ander was his boyfriend. Also, Nadia and Lou's speech at the graduation for the scholarship, and Lou in general, honestly. Lou had such a growth from season 1 to season 3, had the best development with her character. All of her storylines were good. Her characterization is good. The actress who plays her does an amazing job. And honestly, at the end, she probably ended up being one of the most likable characters. It is a little upsetting, that being said, that she decided to leave the show for season 4, but I am hoping that she comes back for season 5. They didn't kill off anybody that had left, so there is potential for Carla, Lou, Nadia, everybody to come back, Valerio even. I would say I would rank the season a 9 out of 10. I think it's better, definitely better than the second one, but still I don't think it was as good as the first one, mainly because Nadia's character was written a little odd with how she was acting when she's usually supposed to be the most level-headed one, and then she wasn't this season for some reason. And then Malik, in general, he was just terrible. I hated every scene that he was in. It was just not good, but everything else was amazing. So 9 out of 10, I would say. Overall, Elite is an amazing show with an amazing cast and amazing storylines. It always manages to push boundaries, and like I said before, it goes where other shows haven't before. Season 4, I'm sure, will bring a lot more excitement with new characters and old when it premieres June 18th on Netflix. As I have with all of the previous seasons, I will be watching every single episode of season 4 on my channel, so subscribe if you haven't already, and then you'll be able to see each of those. I also have a playlist of all of my previous reactions for Elite. You just look up Elite Reactions on my channel, and you'll see seasons 1 through 3, every single episode I have up right now, as well as some trailer reactions as well. I did a trailer reaction to season 2 and season 4. Everyone told me to skip season 3 because it obviously gave away that Polo died, so I didn't want any spoilers for that. But you can see that on my channel as well. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if this jogged your memory with anything, or if you just like the video in general. And let me know in the comments what you think about the first 2 seasons, and I will see you when season 4 premieres.